on, you shouldn't laugh. But at the same time, how do you know after a result in game like that? Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back with another brand new video in the squeaky chair. Hey old Destiny, and I'll be honest with you, I'm needing a breather, I'm needing a break because for large parts, say that game, for 93.5 minutes, it felt like I was going to need to bring you some bad news, and I was carrying that weight on my shoulders, not looking forward to looking at you. I'd be like Steve Bruce in that press conference when he's just like, you know what I mean? That's how I felt, but now I actually know what it feels like to be an England fan at the Euros versus, I think, Slovenia, where it looked dead and buried before Jude Bellingham popped up with a massive overhead kick, scoring a vital goal that changed absolutely everything. We now, as Rangers fans, know exactly what that feels like, because just like that game there, goals changes games, and you didn't need me to sit here and tell you, by God, did we need that to change? Like, honestly, I have absolutely no idea how you're going to be feeling in the comment section below, how you're going to be talking, or if you're going to be angry, happy, sad or mad, because again, it looked so negative, it looked so painful, but the goal changes everything and gives us a completely different complexion on what next week now looks like. But again, I can't really bury my head in the sand and just talk about the good stuff and pretend that it was a great game, because there was some absolutely mind-boggling stuff that we went ahead and done this evening. But what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is somehow, some way, the Dynamo Kyiv squad that was high-flying, high-scoring and couldn't stop scoring on the day, couldn't go ahead and beat what I would argue is the worst starting 11 Rangers have ever fielded in a Champions League qualifier. Now, you might think that's harsh, but show me another squad in the Champions League qualification stages that's worse than that. You know what I mean? You could argue we were doing it about 8 men at one point. We had the crazy wing situation that we've never seen, a combination that's never been put down. We had Scott Wright not only starting but being played out of position, and the centre-back position was honestly one of the most head-scratchingly crazy positions in almost a sitcom-esque storyline. You know what I mean? I feel like Jim in the office. I'm sitting looking about the camera because our new signing, the centre-back that we brought in because we needed him to steady the ship, change things and improve what is an embarrassing centre-back position, who is fully fit and has been training properly with FC20. Properly was a mistake, but it carries into it as we're talking about Robin. He is ready to go, but for whatever reason, Big Phil didn't select him for this game of football because he's had a busy week with his move and everything like that. You know what I mean? It sounds absolutely mental that we can throw points away in the league and arguably go into this monstrously important game of football without playing what is on paper our best centre-half, because he's been sitting in IKEA looking for furniture. You know what I mean? That's mental, but that's the situation, and I'm so thankful for Big Dessers, the Nigerian nightmare, coming out and scoring that goal, because if he doesn't have that moment and if he doesn't have that goal, there is some crazy conversations that we need to have, and the negativity would be around that decision would be truly mental. But at the same time, as I know we've scored and we got the draw and everything like the score draw, which we predicted yesterday, by the way, Dessers anytime. We actually got something right for once, but I know we actually got the draw. But see, at the same time as, Clement, please take the kiddie gloves off, you know what I mean? We're trying to build a Rangers team here that will face incredible scrutiny and incredible adversity throughout an entire Scottish season, where you have to go to the trenches, go in to some difficult areas. You've got to absolutely forge steel if you want to go ahead and make a successful Rangers team. The kiddie gloves giving people off who might be a little bit dizzy for shopping at the DHS's many sales is mental. But where again a lot of the negativity would be around that, and it's easy to get lost in it, I want to flip it the other way and talk about a little positive by the name of Leon Balogun, a 36-year-old centre-half that's signed again to be a backup and an emergency situation player. But again, we're 2 games into the season and he's getting pulled for the old fridge and fired into the old frying pan already, because we need a 36-year-old to fix the old spot. And again, where a lot of the negativity will be why Robin never played. Let's be thankful that Leon did, because again, until Robin shows it in a Rangers top, our best defender is that 36-year-old man, and thank God for him, because all the magic we had at the end, the feeling, the escape, the handcuff-esque break that we had, is down in large part to Dessers and Cerny's wonderful cross. We will speak about that in a minute, but a lot of that's built on the hard work that Leon Balogun put in the back line as well, to try and steady a ship that was absolutely all over the place, because he didn't get much help for his partner John Souttar. We've talked about that a lot in this channel, been crucified by here, there and everywhere, but Souttar's not the answer. He's not the one. We need to stop pretending he is. If he's wearing a Ben Davies shirt in the background today, he's getting absolutely hounded for his performance. But where Davies can get pulled off early in a game and embarrassed, then dropped, Souttar seems to have unlimited lives with this one, as he put in another chronic performance like he did versus Hearts. But again, Leon Balogun bailed him out, bailed this defence out, and bailed us for large parts of the game. So shout out to Leon. I would love to sub Leon and Robin in and play them versus Motherwell, because to me, that is something we could maybe start to see a bit of stability in the back line and maybe see something there. And for me, Souttar and Davies had plenty of opportunities, more opportunities than certain centre-backs over the last couple of years. I've seen enough. They're no good enough. But Balogun, a bit of a stopgap obviously with his age, but right now, if you're asking me the two best centre-backs are and what I want to see going forward, it's the big man and Robin. How do you feel on that? But I do want to actually pull it back to the winging position, because we've already kind of touched on it. Again, it was an absolute baffling decision again by Phil Clement to not only start Scott Wright in a Champions League qualifier, but to then play him out of position and swap him out with obviously young Ross McCausland, who's not really had a kick so far in terms of us domestically and in pre-season. But it was a ballsy call that had mixed results. And again, the negative will obviously be Scott Wright, as again he is once again substituted off at half-time for Rangers, probably breaking a record, as I can't think of anyone else in the Rangers career has been subbed off early and at half-time as much as that laddie. A bit of an unwanted record, and as much as we joke and we mock and we do the occasional meme, because peeling back the curtain, I don't know how many of you actually watched the Rangers career mode, but there was a lot of similarities of Rangers trying to get rid of Scott Wright at the same time as we were trying to get rid of him in the career mode. It just wouldn't go. So it's became a bit of a story over the last couple of years and a bit of a joke I try and have a laugh with the long-term viewers at the channel, because they understand it. But see, even taking all the jokes and that away, I genuinely felt rotten for Scott Wright today. I feel like it's got to the point now where we're just hurting ourselves now and hurting that laddie too, because why are we doing this? We know he's no a Rangers starter. This is nothing personal what I'm about to say right now, but he is not good enough to be a Rangers starter. That shouldn't be a shock to anyone, but yet he's still thrusted in to the starting 11. We were fine with Scotty Wright when he was the occasional squad rotation option that was played here, there in a cup game. We 15-20 minutes there, and look, he had some good impactful moments. He scored in a cup final, he scored some big goals. We were alright with him when he was in and around the squad. The problem came when it was clear and he was thrusted into the starting 11 when he wasn't good enough. That was years ago now, yet it's still happening to the laddie. And again, I just felt rotten. Not only was he starting this game when he shouldn't be, as he's no good enough for this level, he was also then played out of position. So is it any wonder he got subbed off early? No, because to every Rangers fan and every football fan that's watching knows Scotty shouldn't be starting this game. The only one at Disney is the one that picks the starters, and that's worrying for me. And again, the guy's sitting here getting his name dragged through the mud and called this and that. He's not good enough. Yeah, no surprise with that. We all know it. He's not picking himself. It's on the manager to stop actually doing it. But again, where we could get lost in more negativity, I want to look at it again from the other side. I want to talk about Ross McCausland. The wee man came in there again. A lot of similarities with Scotty Wright in terms of not being ready to start for Rangers, and the praise that I'm going to give him doesn't make me change my tune and how I feel about the laddie, or I'm not going to try and backtrack what I've said. I think he is another one of those players that can be an impactful squad player. He's no ready to be a starter for Rangers yet. That shouldn't be a surprise either, as he wasn't picked. Again, it was Lovelace, it was other guys, injured. he got thrusted in to the spotlight. But again, he's still an incredibly young lad, and he's got wee bits about his game. And I think the likes of Cerny coming in now, when Cerny gets up to speed, which will hopefully be very, very soon, this is the best thing that can happen for a Ross McCausland, because again, he can play in a Rangers team, he can come in, he can get minutes, he can grow, he can develop as a player without the pressure of being the guy. At Rangers, we saw what it's done to Scotty, right, and how much he gets substituted off early. We need to protect our players for turning into that and being mishandled and mismanaged the way we've done the likes of Scotty. And for me, Ross has a much higher ceiling than Wright, and if we do it right, he could be gone and becoming a very important piece to the puzzle. But even everything we're saying here about ceilings and prospects and the projects and what potential he could have, I thought today he was brilliant. And you know what I mean, the combination play that he had, the wee 1-2s, the building in, the hard work that he puts in off the ball now, which is something he's learned from last year's European campaign. And again, he was an inch away from scoring a Champions League qualifying goal. That's how close that lad went ahead to come. So aye, give him a lot of respect. He was definitely a shock starter at the game, but where one winger sank the day, another one swam. And for me, that's where we should be talking about, and that's the praise we should be firing to the young laddie. Well in, wee man. Keep it up. But aye, there's no too much else we can actually talk about in terms of positivity, so I guess it's time to get into the actual game video. I know there's a smile on my face, there's a wee bit more of a happier tone than there would have been if Cerny never put that ball in the mixer and Dessers, the Nigerian nightmare, never scored that brilliant goal. But again, we can't bury our head in the sands and pretend that it was all sunshines and rainbows, because for a lot of it, it certainly wasn't. Again, a weak starting 11 was selected, and Dynamo Kyiv certainly had the opportunities. But it's got to be said, getting into the game recap, the first team to have a shot on target was us. Nice long ball out to Dessers, nice little 1-2 pass in to Lawrence. Lawrence hits the first time, it's saved by the goalie, but it's rebounded probably just outside the box or just about the line, and Dessers gets the volley on. Now, it's not a big chance for Dessers, I wouldn't even call it a chance, he's just chucked a leg at it. But again, it was good movement, and for me, somebody that strikes the ball as cleanly as Tom Lawrence should be doing a hell of a lot better with that, in my opinion. And for 1 second I thought, oh no, wait a minute, you know what I mean, everyone's talking about how bad this team is, and trust me, it's bad. But Dynamo Kyiv certainly no plan to fade this squad. You know what I mean, you can say what you want about Clermont's starting 11, but no many would have been preparing and working their tactical plan to play against that, if you catch my drift. Maybe we'll just have the element of surprise, and then 30 seconds later the Carvers opened down the left hand side as Kabayev, who we spoke about yesterday, versus Tavernier, took Tavernier for a walk, won a corner, and then they missed a free header at the back post where they should have actually scored, and we went, ah yeah, now we're back to normal. And the pressure continued to build, unfortunately, from Dynamo Kyiv as they started to find the little pockets of space. The wee number 10, Shaparenko, who we spoke about in yesterday's preview as well, just running in behind the likes of Connor Barron, finding the wee pockets of space, and it's not a dig at him. For me, again, I look at the Rangers midfield, the Barron, Diamandi, I see flashes, but then I'm getting frustrated because both of them were absolutely burst today, because 2 men is doing the job of 3 men, and they're needing to track about 5 men. Let that sink in to the old brain, because that's what I'm seeing now, watching these Rangers games. I think the substitution that Clermont went ahead to make to bring on Dujon Sterling certainly solidified and helped combat the midfield issues that we actually have. But what I would love to see is maybe a combination of Barron, Diamandi and Sterling together. Maybe that's how you actually fix it, because I like Barron, I like Diamandi, but I didn't like Lawrence in front. And the guy can't move, and it constantly allows counters. It constantly allows us to get overran in the middle of the park. And maybe if we're having to keep Tavernier, if Tavernier's not going to go anywhere, and if Tavernier can at least get to a level where we can overcome his clear shortcomings this season, a midfield of Barron with Sterling sitting there and Diamandi in the hole, being able to run where Lawrence is supposed to be running, that might be the answer to the midfield question. Or can we not afford to play Sterling in the middle of the park as we need him at right back? Because I thought Tavernier again was really poor the day, and we'll speak about that in a wee minute. It's an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. What would you do with the team right now? Do you think that's a midfield three we can go with right now until we bring someone else in? Or does he needed at right back and we need to go and get another centre mid, or wait for Raskin to be healthy? It's an interesting one with that one. You could see pros and cons for each of it. But again, we did speak about Tav being poor defensively, and that takes us to the 17th minute of the old game. Again, Dynamo in behind the midfield, overrunning the midfield. The cross one in to the mixer, which is horrendously defended by Tav as he just kind of kicks a leg at it. But it goes straight to, I think, the captain of Dynamo Kyiv, who has a shot. It deflects off our own player, I believe, into a phenomenal save by Jack Butland. An underrated reflex save for Butland. But he does spam it into the air. And obviously, your defenders never react to anything. And Kyiv's got an easy tap in for the header, which I was about to go mental at until it was clearly offside. So aye, we got away with that one as the guy's about a yard Tavernier when the shot is actually hit. And aye, I'm thinking, right, please didn't do that again. But you know how it goes. But before we do actually speak about them opening the score in the game, which again has a lot annoyingly to break down, we did have that nearly moment of young Ross McCausland. Again, a nice little ball out to him. His first touch is great. He beats one and then he's like, oh no, okay. And then he beats two and then he goes, I'm on my left foot. And he curls one and I'm up because I thought it's in. You just looks like one of those weird 1 in a million shots that curls in to the back of net. But then I remembered I'm a Rangers fan and I didn't get luck or I get is sadness as it rebounds off the post and goes away. Obviously, it had been against the run of play as Dynamo was all over us in the first 25 minutes of this game. But still, we showed little patterns he played when we did get the ball, when we did get it to Lawrence. Again, no mobile at all, but when we stick it to him, we had some nice little build-up, little threats in with Tavernier doing the right, Ross McCausland doing the right. There were wee sprinkles, and that was the closest we came to opening the scoring before Kyiv went ahead to do it. And unfortunately, the way they did it is self-inflicted again. Because of course it is. Ridvan Yilmaz, I gave a lot of praise for, at the weekend versus Hearts. Thought he was brilliant. Rotten right here. Far too weak. Gets shoved out. Running when he shouldn't run. Loses the ball. Connor Barron then tries to come in and swipe the ball. Just gets turned far too easily. Again, we're talking about the closeness we are to the Champions League. There's some individual quality there. Just takes Barron for a walk here. I hate to actually say it, but it's true. But it's no on the wee man's fault. And it's no on Connor Barron's either. I want to look back at this goal because after he's turned away from Barron, he plays a through ball to a guy that's wide open. I'm saying he must be offside, but when you see the replay back, John Suter is keeping this laddie on as he is about 5 yards behind his defensive line. A yard, fair enough. 2, you're taking the piss. 5, what is actually going on? For all the criticalness that Goldson got and everything, I get his legs gone, he had to go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not changing that. At least spoke. But my biggest issue with Big John that I've had since day one to where I sit right now is the fact that he doesn't speak. He's no commanding at all. He is absolutely sleeping here 5 yards behind your defensive line. We want to play in the Champions League. Troops, people say, oh, you're being too harsh on Soapy. Oh, everyone loves Soapy because he's Scottish and has a cool nickname. No, I want the team to be a success. The guy's not got any more excuses. He's not getting played on the left. He's playing in his best position. And again, he's playing like Ben Davies right now did versus Hearts. Awful, but it just gets worse as we eventually close him down. But the cross comes in and Suter just allows his man to run right in front of him and tap it into the back of the net as Yarmolenko has the easiest goal he's ever scored. Now, I know Twitter and that was trying to blame Tav for this, but there's only one man that allowed his man to run beyond him to tap it into the back of the net, and it was Suter. And shout out to Big Marvin Bartley. We're having a wee brief talk on Twitter and everything like that about it. He doesn't understand why, as a centre-back, they are marking the space, but not just getting any contact on the man at all. Just get contact, have a feeling where your man is, and then you can know how to defend. Suter doesn't once look what's round him. Doesn't once try and put an arm out. He just lets a ball drill through the 6-yard box and be tapped in to the back of the net. You know what I mean? It needs to be better for that. That's why I want Suter. That's why I want Balogun and Robin to play until we get another one to take the pressure off Balogun's legs, ladies and gentlemen. Because the only thing that's not consistent with Balogun is his availability, and that's it. Or I'd be fine where I'm playing. But aye, awful, awful goal to give away, especially when you want to play in the Champions League. It's amateur stuff. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's really my last talking point in the first half, as it then became again a bit of the Dynamo Kyiv show. Showed flashes in the first half, moments in the first half, but it's done and undone by our own silly goal, and we sort of limped to half-time for over the next 7.5 minutes. And then again, the substitution we've already referenced throughout today's video. Scott Wright coming off at half-time, but it wasn't for another wing. It wasn't for Rabbi Matondo, who I thought it would be, especially for the space that it was in behind. It was hefty, and it was because he's got a bit more defensive instincts. I know what you're actually saying, but he did help back with Ridvan quite a lot and stop the overload from happening, something we spoke about again yesterday, by the way. But he did stop that. But also, attacking-wise, it was actually just refreshing to see a winger get on the ball and put a ball into the mixer. And that's before Cerny came on. Again, hefty offered Sahan, winning us a free kick. That free kick then gets put into the box that Dessers misses a free header 6 yards out. By the way, I know it was eventually given as offside, but that's where the frustration is with Dessers. He's got to score that. He's 6 yard free header. You know what I mean? Point blank range, but ends up missing it. But again, we had a wee bit Sahan down the left, and that maybe sparked Clement to say, let's get a wee bit Sahan down on the right. But credit to young Ross. I was a wee bit devastated he went off. I thought it maybe have been Lawrence, as he hadn't touched the ball since the warm-up, if I'm honest with you. But aye, he came off in terms of Ross. Cerny come on, and for me, Cerny didn't look good on the touches, you know what I mean? A couple of wee heavy touches, but for my point of view is, when I've been looking at this lad over the last couple of weeks preparing for the profile video, I've seen how he plays, you know what I mean, how he goes about his business, and then I'm seeing him drop into positions that I've never seen him do, you know what I mean, drop back a bit to allow Tavernier to run beyond him, to allow Diamande to run behind him, to then hit through Boz. That's no the type of player he is, and if this is the instructions that he's not ready to play for because we're ramming it down his actual throat, please stop, because that's not why we brought him into the football club. We brought him in because he's a winger. Please just let our wingers be wingers. Let's stop feeding them with absolute crap nonsense that they didn't need. Look at the goal we scored today. Let wingers be wingers and play with their natural instincts to get the ball into the mixer. But aye, it just wasn't working down the right. He kept cutting inside and having to sit here and try and pass down to the right. And I was like, that's not the guy we brought. What we doing? Speaking of what we're doing, Dessers tried an overhead kick and somehow managed to kick both defenders and miss the ball. It's truly a oh, we can laugh about it now because he scored, but if he never got, that would be depressing. Now, when it honestly kick, both players missed the ball. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. You know what I mean? This constant love-hate relationship we are in. Ross and Rachel, will we, won't we? I don't know, Dessers. I don't know what you want to do, but I'm here if you're able to score goals like that. But it certainly wasn't looking like Dessers' day, and as the game started to go on, Dynamo had a couple of opportunities, one of them with a cross shot that was saved. But where we're going to talk about the goal next, well, I want to just jump in here before we actually get there and say we're skipping a lot of stuff, and a lot of that was Leon Balogun's best work in my opinion. The reason we're able to skip to the goal that equalises this game and keeps this tie really alive going in to next week where we go to Hampden was a lot of intercepting work and a lot of defensive work from Leon Balogun. And it's for me why, if you ask me who my man of the match in the game was, it wasn't Dessers, it wasn't Cerny, it wasn't Hefty, it wasn't this guy, whoever the flavour of the month is. The man of the match for me was Leon Balogun, and he showed that between about the 60th minute to about the 83rd with vital interception, vital tackle, especially the one that was put in the mixer with the outside of the fit for Yarmolenko. Brilliant defending for the big man. He gets where he needs to be, and it gives us the platform to go and do what we all do. But aye, let's go ahead and talk about it then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I've been teasing you, I've been denying you. We need to talk about the goal in the game. And what I love is Dessers actually starts it. He gets flattened in the middle of the park but keeps it alive. It goes to Hefty. Hefty then hits a long through ball to Cerny. Cerny takes it out wide, sizes his man up, and do you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't look to recycle. Do you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't look for Tavernier. Do you know what he doesn't do? He doesn't look to cut inside. Nah, ladies and gentlemen, it is one touch to set himself and one to put it in the mixer. And to be fair to Dessers, the Nigerian Nightmare does what he needed today. Phenomenal run, brilliant day finish, but right there is the goal that we've not been able to score for years. ladies and gentlemen. You know, the last goal that I can remember that we scored that just came to my mind was when Jordan Jones crossed it to Morelos in a European goal in the last couple of minutes of the game. I don't know if you remember it, but the touch and cross and everything like that. And I know you weren't expecting a Jordan Jones reference, but the last time I actually saw a winger touch a ball and put it into the mixer has gone back to actually then, and hopefully Cerny has a much more successful time than that. But honestly, it was just a joy, and it was just nice to see a winger be allowed to be a winger, and that's the player I saw. That's the player I thought was going to be coming in, and hopefully we learn a lesson not to try and change the laddie. Just let him be that. One touch shot, one touch shot, one touch cross. None of this, let's get in play, we play, let's try and play Tavernier doing the right. It doesn't work. It's no going to work. And aye, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we scored a goal to make us live another day and take us back to Hampden, not Ibrox, unfortunately, where it's all set up evenly. And again, as I said at the intro, they couldn't beat us with that 11 and the amount of advantages we maybe handed them on paper. All I can hope next week is we'll fix the centre-back spot, Robin, Leon, please, and we actually play with two wingers as well, whether it is Hefty and Cerny or Hefty and McCausland until Cerny is ready to start. It can, as simple as that, just by playing your best players that you've got in the club. But again, that doesn't happen at this. Every player that joins this club needs 8 weeks and 8 pieces of furniture delivered before they're allowed to kick a football. Like, honestly, just stop. You know, just be normal for once. Please, Rangers. But aye, I'm buzzing with this result. I know some people will maybe be a wee bit annoyed and frustrated, and I understand that it was a lot of the games that was ugly. We could have done this. We could have lost it by this minute. I get all that, but we never. Butland done his job. Balogun was brilliant, and he overcame a poor overall defensive display. I thought Ridvan was quite poor as well. Again today, by the way, he's just passing, you know what I mean? Can he pass an eye test during the actual game? But aye, live to fight another day. I'll take it, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully we've learned our lessons. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. And until next time, I'll see you down in the comment section below. All the best and bye-bye.